What's happening, YouTube? It's your homie S. Akuma coming back to you with another video. And today's video is a deck profile all about King Starscream. Now, of course, you know King Starscream is a great card from Wave 2. He's an SRT. And in his alt mode, when you flip to this mode, you may grab a card that has plan that has the effect of plan from your scrap pile and add it to your hand. And of course, his bot mode effect, when you flip Decepticon Crown while he's battling, he gets +3/+3 until the end of the turn. So if you happen to find a way to stack all 3 crowns, they stacks ×3. So he'll have +9/+9, and that's without even his the oranges that you flip off of your battle flips. So very insane card. You can hit some very hot numbers. Normally when I attack with him, I hit no less than 14 and 15, as long as he's set up right, and opponents of course didn't disrupt it with their ramming speeds or inner enforcement batons, etc, etc. Now his team, of course, as you can see here, we have Dragstrip. This deck has a good amount of blue in it, so I'm taking advantage of his effect, powerful effect in alt mode. Whenever you flip an orange and a blue, you're able to draw 2 cards. So that gives you more cards in your hand to be able to set up your Starscream, have cards for mining pick, so on and so forth. And then of course we have the new addition, Lionizer. He adds to the deck very well. Your opening turn is very strong. You can flip Starscream and then attack with Lionizer. Lionizer is flipping a minimum of 6 cards, your 2 initial, and then his bold 4, and then of course you get another 2 if you flip a white. And what that does is that sends a lot of cards to your scrap pile to hopefully use Starscream's effect on your turn 2. So Lionizer get attacked, and then turn 2 you'll flip Starscream back to get a security console or a mining pick, etc., to add back to your hand and load Starscream up to get ready for the turn that he attacks. And then of course you attack with your Dragstrip, and then once Starscream is able to finally attack, you flip him and then set him up to go for a big swing and probably KO someone, because like I said in the beginning of the video, he hits very hard. So with that, and of course Lionizer is just a great addition to the deck because of his saber effect, or his weaponizer effect. He turns into the saber, and when he's equipped it to a character, he gives the character bold 4 and plan 1. So what you're able to do is you have another way to plan cards outside of mining pick, and you can stack a Decepticon Crown, and then you get bold 4. So initially when you stack a crown, since it's a white icon, you flip 4 cards. You flip your 2 initial and then 2 for the white. But with the saber, now you're flipping 2 initial, 2 for the white, and then 4 more. So you're flipping 8 cards total. So all the oranges and your crowns accumulate and boost his attack and go for a very deadly swing. So without further ado, let's jump right into the deck profile. So of course, as a lot of my deck profiles have started off with, you guessed it, I'm not going to talk much about this because I always, I gas this card up a lot, but it deserves the gassing that it gets. Peace to Tyranny. Using this card on Lionizer is great. Depending on the game state, you're able to use this card, and let's say on your turn 2, you're able to Peace to Tyranny, the Lionizer, put it on your Starscream, get it a possible big attack with, well, not a big attack, but get an attack with Dragstrip, and then get another attack with Starscream. That may or may not be ideal, but one of the best ways to use Peace to Tyranny, especially with Lionizer, is if your opponent's tapped out. Let's say your characters are tapped, and your opponent has all the characters tapped. Using Peace to Tyranny on Lionizer to put the saber on Starscream is powerful for that turn, because when you attack, everyone stands since everyone was tapped, and then Starscream could possibly go after another character. So hopefully he can ideally KO the character he's attacking that turn, and then we all stand, and then the Starscream's able to attack again. Now that doesn't come up a lot, but it is relevant, and of course just in general, Peace to Tyranny on Lionizer is great. Don't jump the gun in Peace to Tyranny, your Lionizer, just because you can. That's something I actually meant to mention in my very first Lionizer.deck video, is just because you have it doesn't mean you play it. Definitely plan your turns ahead, and look 2 and 3, well, 1 to 2 turns ahead, and make sure you're using it to its most efficient use. Especially when you're going to kill, you need to analyze and make sure that you're going in on a character that really needs to die first. Like my opponents, normally when I'm playing, I will prioritize, putting a lot of focus onto that character or not, depending on what it is. Like, of course, Optimus Prime Battlefield Legend is the strongest character in the 3-wide Prime deck. Of course, Starscream is the strongest character here. Now, support characters are a different story. Maybe you need to get rid of it. Like, especially against cars, you might want to go heavier into an attack versus a car deck, because you probably don't want them to untap, because once they untap, they change the tempo in terms of the attack sequences and could possibly get more attacks on you, and more attacks equals usually, hey, bugs. Bugs are simply good because they have 4 attacks, and then 5 initially or 5 ideally if they even get a I still function. But anyway, enough about that card. Peace to Tyranny, great card, gotta play it. Next up, we have 3 Rollout. This card is great. It's it has a dual purpose. On defense, you protect yourself. On offense, you can get more damage. If you flip it off Dragstrip singly, he lets you draw 2 cards, which is great. This card is also great to be able to roll out, flip Starscream to alt mode to grab a mining pick or whatever, and then flip him back to bot mode to equip that weapon or whatever, and then get an attack in the mode that he wants to be in. So great card overall. It doesn't affect any character but Starscream. You'll almost never flip Dragstrip, and Lionizer doesn't flip while he's a character in character mode. So next up, we have 3 Marksmanship. This card, normally the last character on your battlefield should be Starscream. It is relevant that Dragstrip is ranged in bot mode, but you'll probably, hopefully your Starscream isn't dead before Dragstrip, because if he is, it's probably going to be very hard for you to win anyway. But Starscream is ranged in both modes, so Marksmanship's a great card. If you control a ranged character, you're able to deal 2 damage to a enemy in bot mode, and great direct damage, so you don't have to waste a big Starscream attack into a character with 2 or 1 health left. Next up, we have a new addition to the deck, or a new addition in general, from Wave 3, Battlefield Report. I like this card a lot because it's another card to help you set up on defense for Starscream's effect besides Security Console. Now, all you do is simply set it. You can play your mining pick for the turn, and then I usually like to keep this card for when Starscream attacks, because ideally the action that I play for my turn, I don't play a lot of attack boosting actions. So unless I have Marksmanship and it's ideal to use that Marksmanship that turn, or whatever I have for the situation, I'll set this Battlefield Report. I can stack the Decepticon Crown with mining pick or the Saber, and I'll get it back because it's a green, and then on my opponent's turn I'll draw 2 cards. When they attack this, I'll draw 2 cards, stack the crown, and then get the +3 defense plus whatever other blues I flip, which is nice. So I like this card a lot. This deck, definitely a 3 of in this deck. I have some other decks that I have profiled, or one or 2 other decks, and decks in general, my blue decks have been all playing 3 because I just felt like it was an auto include at 3, but it turns out it's not. It's kind of subpar sometimes. In this deck, I think it's very good, and but like my 3-wide Optimist, currently I'm only playing 2. It seemed like a 3 of. I've started with 3, but another profile for another time. Anyway, so 3 Battlefield Report. Then next up for my 2 ofs, 2 Supercharge. This card is nice when you're going first to open to use on your Dragstrip or your Lionizer. You give Lionizer Bowl 3, he'll be Bowl 7 now, so you flip no less than 9 cards. Probably flip a white because I play like 10 whites in the deck. This is the one deck that I play so many whites, and it's inevitable because 6 of the cards automatically have to be included in the deck, I feel. So yeah, so I'm playing 10 white, so you're definitely going to probably flip 11 cards. You'll flip 2 initially, 4 for the bold, 3 for Supercharge, that puts you at 9, and then 2 more most likely for the white. And he can actually get pretty high, put a grenade launcher or whatever on him, and he could KO someone by himself, before he of course turns into the Saber. So only 2 because of space issues, and I may work with some ratios later on. Of course it's always good on Dragstrip, because Dragstrip, it gives you a higher chance of flipping an orange and a blue to draw 2 cards. I don't think it's imperative that you hit an orange and a blue with this effect, but it's always just nice, and there's really no other good slot right now for a 5-drop to play. I do have a side deck character I'm thinking about, and we'll see what happens at that point. But just 2 Supercharge. Next up for my 2 ofs, I have 2 Incoming Transmission. I really only like to play 3 of this card when I play it, but in this situation I'm only able to play 2 because of space issues. There probably is a card I can cut to play another one, but for now I like 2. 2's been working on top of that, so I'm not really necessarily worried about altering it. But this card of course is good to stack your crown, stack a rollout to when you attack with Dragstrip, or just in general. The most important thing is of course finding an upgrade, or just playing it for the turn to dig deeper into your deck, set yourself up, get rid of those improvised shields or your Piece to Tyranny if you're not planning on using it, and set up for better plays throughout the game. Next up, we have for my last 2 ofs, I have Callous Leadership. Now, Callous Leadership acts as a Piece to Tyranny as well. You're able to potentially, on your first turn, attack with Lionizer. Your opponent goes, they attack into your Lionizer. And then on your next turn, you're able to potentially stack, let's say you have Mining Pick and Decepticon Crown in your hand. You can Mining Pick, Crown, and go ham after a character and get rid of it. Not necessarily, of course, you probably won't do it against a small character, but possibly against a, one of the second in command or whatever character they have. If you feel like you need to get a big attack on them, you can. Send your Starscream in. Now, of course, now your Starscream's open. They'll probably send their character in to attack Starscream. What you can then do is play your Callous Leadership to move at least up to 5 damage off of Starscream onto your Lionizer, which can potentially KO the Lionizer and, like I said, act as a Piece of Tyranny and equip it to your Dragstrip or your Starscream or whatever. Now, again, that's not necessarily an ideal play, but if the play comes up, it's relevant. Even throughout the game, if you after the wheel turn, after everyone attacks, Starscream has damage on them, your next play can just simply be the Callous Leadership, move damage on the Lionizer. And what'll be really nice is, let's say Starscream has 9 damage counters on it. Well, you can remove 5 of those, and let's say 5 of those don't KO, or let's say, because I've done this a lot with the Shockwave deck, since it says up to, it's nice to be able to move, let's say 4 damage. Let's say 5 would kill Lionizer. You can move 4 over the Lionizer and put him at 7. And then, so healing your Starscream for 4. Send the Lionizer in. The Lionizer is definitely going to die next turn to just about whatever, unless they're attacking with a 3 attack character and you flip a blue. That's the only way that it won't die. But most likely it'll die next turn, and then you can easily just equip it. So very nice, and I like this card a lot. Thank goodness he's a leader, so it works out. And yeah, he's definitely 8 stars or more. He's at 13, so 2 callous leadership. Next up for my one-ofs, we have 1 quartermaster. Now, again, space is an issue. I don't think I'd even need more than one of these, because if I don't have the saber, I have a weapon, which I've talked about a couple times throughout the video, that you're able to just play in, because he doesn't have to have the saber, which is nice. You have your backup weapon, which is really strong. So but in the case that it does come up, or I want to move, let's say I want to move the saber over to Dragstrip for whatever reason, and then play mining pick for the turn. And go from there. Like I said, I'm not necessarily sure exactly how the plays will run out with this deck, but I feel like I at least have to play one. If we get to late game and your opponent ramming speeds or vaporizes or enforcement batons it or scrapper gauntlets, then having this in your hand to be able to just bring it back and then go crazy with Starscream again, it just seems really good. So that's one of. And then my other one-ofs, I am playing 1 treasure hunt, 1 vaporize, 1 ramming speed, and 1 escape route. Now the the vaporize and the ramming speed, honestly, it could be 2 of the one or the other one, but I just mixed it up a little bit to kind of cater to the blue for Dragstrip's effect. And of course, the blue always helps on defense when it comes up. And I don't think it matters too much, because Starscream's attack gets so high, the blue doesn't really dilute your attack. Now it might dilute Lionizer's attack, but his role isn't really to hit that 6 to 8 attack that he normally hits in an all orange deck. This deck has about 8 blues, 8 strict blues, and then the 3 rollouts make it 11, or it's 12, one of the 2. So 9, and then the 3 roll. I don't count the rollouts, but they're technically blue because they're the best of both worlds. But yeah, so 1 escape route. This card is nice too. Also, it acts just like rollout, but with this card, it's a white, and it's also most importantly a green. So you're able to trade a card out of your hand to get this, to flip Starscream back to alt mode, to grab one of your playing cards and then flip him back and then attack with him if you're if that's your plan of action for the turn. And then 1 treasure hunt, because I do play a good bit of upgrades that I would like to see in my hand, and worst case scenario, I have no type of weapons in my hand. At least I can try to fish for some and go from there. So yeah, that rounds out the weapons, or the weapons. Going to weapons next. That rounds out the actions. I think there's 22 actions. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. No, 23 actions. Okay. Moving on to the upgrades, I am playing 3 grenade launcher. Not too much to say about this. Great card to put on any of your characters. Usually this card will support Dragstrip or Lionizer to get some sizable damage in throughout the game. Starscream usually has the card I'm going to show next, mining pick, or the saber on him. But whatever the game calls for, of course, I'm sure you'll make the best play possible, or you should make the best play considering the game state. But of course, this card is good, and again, you don't have to rely on Lionizer. He's just a backup to have that plan to be able to stack your crown. And these are the only 6 weapons I play. So yeah, again, like I said in my Hyper Prime video, I think a Hyper Prime video, I'm only playing 6 weapons. Normally you play I would usually be playing Armed Hovercraft. 3 Armed Hovercraft is a card I'll probably side deck against like aerial bots or any other super wide decks. So and they can go either on Dragstrip in his alt mode or in his bot mode, excuse me, or Starscream. But yeah, so I'm only playing 6 weapons because the Peace Tyranny, like I said before, is also considered a weapon. Callous Leadership is technically considered a weapon now. I would look at it that way, because whatever you do that will end up KOing the Lionizer makes him a weapon, and then now you don't need so many weapons anymore. So just those 6. Next up, we have, for our armors, we have 3 Improvised Shield, 1 Reflex Circus, and 1 Bashing Shield. Kind of mix it up here. Could probably side deck another Reflex Circus, especially if you're going up against a melee character like Wheeljack. Wheeljack is melee in the mode he wants to be in, Specialist in alt mode. So you at least get 2 defense with that, plus whatever you stack for this. Since this is well, I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, so you get the +2 defense if you're attacking against a melee character, and then of course Bashing Shield, get rid of those pesky armors to make sure Starscream can get the most value out of his attack, or whoever in those situations. So just 5 armors, probably side deck 1 of each of these pair depending on my matchups. And Improvised Shield, nothing to say about this, except for, again, I always say when I come up to this card late game, you might equip this because you have no more armors, and you do play a good amount of blue in the deck, so, to help with your defensive flips, rather. But other than that, I would never activate it. And then last but not least, the 6 whites I was talking about from the beginning of the video, which makes me have so many whites in the deck, but I think it's okay. 3 Decepticon Crown and 3 Security Console. Now, Decepticon Crown is the heart of the deck. It's the reason why Starscream is even viable. You know, again, if you have this on top of your deck, you get +3/+3. What's also relevant is, a lot of people don't realize, is when Starscream attacks, if he has a Security Console, let's say he's attacking against 4 characters. Every time they attack into Starscream, you'll draw a card and then you'll stack a crown. He gets +3/+3. And then you'll trade a card in your hand to get the crown back. And then they go attack into Starscream again. You draw another card, you stack crown again. He gets another +3/+3. Now I say another because it doesn't just go +3/+3 and then he loses it like Wave 2 Skywarp. He gets the +3/+3 stacked on until the end of the turn. So if they attack all 4 attacks, which probably isn't ideal, into Starscream, he'll be +12/+12 until the end of the turn. So by the time that 4th attack comes around, he'll have 13 defense and probably no damage is getting through, considering, of course, the other blues that you flip. Well, not even the other, you don't even probably need the other blues at that point. So that's something to pay attention to. Security Console is great on this card, and you know, yeah. That's really all there is to say about that. Now, as for side deck options, I'm thinking about either Shrapnel for Lionizer, because Bugs is probably still a bad matchup. Bugs will be a bad matchup for any blue deck you play outside of Cars. I think Cars, because the Cars have help with SRB to try to get an extra KO or a quick KO on kickback before it attacks. But other than that, every 3-wide orange deck will always have a problem with Bugs because of their you know, efficient attacks without needing that much help from their actions or upgrades. And you know, just simply having an extra attack. The extra attack is the, like, if they all had an extra star, you could only play 3 of these, the deck wouldn't be as good. But it is, because you know, like I said, they have 4 characters plus I still function. So very good deck, can't front. So I was thinking about possibly side decking in Shrapnel. Probably not that good. I mean, Shrapnel, I can, you know, against the Bugs deck, I can side out Lionizer for Shrapnel, send my Shrapnel into theirs or whatever, or kickback, and then they're going to send their Shrapnel into mine. I'm only going to take 3. On my next turn, I can send Dragstrip into this Shrapnel, deal 3, yada, yada, yada. I'll have to work with the turn sequences, but this is a possible option. There's a possible option to, you know, side deck out Dragstrip for, I want to say Flame War. She's the first one that came to mind, but I would say, because the deck is still mostly orange, so Flame War seems like she would suck in my iteration of the deck anyway. But possibly Arcee against blue decks. You can even side deck out Dragstrip. For Arcee, of course, her Pierce is the death of blue decks. Whatever her attack is equals also her Pierce, and that's also an option. This is one of the decks I want to take to Gen Con, whichever, and play. I have like 6 or 7 decks I want to play. So I'm planning to play all 4 events, but I'm hoping I can get my invite within the first couple and not go through that stress like last time. And I made the mistake of playing Sentinels twice, and like I knew that I shouldn't have played Sentinels that second event, but I still wanted to anyway because I got 9th the first day. So I'm like, oh, I should just get it next time. Nope, got my ass kicked. But yeah, you've heard about that story already. But with that, that's it for the deck profile, and I'm glad you guys stayed here with me. You know, if you've been here throughout the duration of this video, and I will be posting up. I want to hopefully don't hold me to it, but I'm trying to get my commentary on round 2 of the Only Game in Town tournament posted today. I think it's Bugs versus a 3-wide General Megatron deck, so that'll be very, very interesting to see. Just like the last video, round 1, I did not see the gameplay footage for it yet, so as I commentate on it, it'll be my first time seeing it, and I will be just as excited as you guys are watching the video. So with that, I'm going to stop rambling and get up out of here. You guys as always, have a great day or great night whenever you're catching this video. This is Akuma heading out. Peace.